Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What is up, everyone? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of PainterGrowth.com, and you're listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. Happy holidays, and is a little holiday surprise, holiday reliability, whatever you want to call it. Moving forward, we are going to do our best to commit to a twice-a-week podcast schedule, every Tuesday, every Friday, so that you can come to expect and rely upon the Painter Growth Podcast, like so many of you do, to grow your business. We are going to try to commit to a twice a week, every Tuesday, every Friday posting schedule. And me announcing it here is just a little way to hold myself and my team accountable to make sure that we can hit this. It's a lot of work, but we love what we do. We love being able to give back and help the community in this way. So my hope is that throughout the new year, you can come to rely on the Painter Growth Podcast to help you grow your painting business. Now, over the last just about half a decade, we've worked with over 1,000 painting contractors. And I mean 1,000, not 1,000 people who have opted into our email list or 1,000 people who have bought a $49 widget from us, but 1,000 plus owners who have worked with us on a one-on-one capacity. Okay. And throughout that, we've done nearly 10,000 one-on-one coaching calls. And we have that data now, and we've been analyzing that data. And the more that we analyze that, the more that we learn about you and human nature and what makes you tick and how to run a great painting business and how to not run a great painting business. And I want to distill down all of that learning into 5 things that are basically keeping you broke. 5 reasons, 5 habits that you might be doing right now that are not allowing you to generate the amount of profit, the amount of income, and the amount of time that you wish you were able to bring in. Right? In business, we really have 2 finite resources. We have time and we have money. And a lot of the time we'll focus on the top line revenue, but not necessarily on the profit. And we'll focus on, how busy we are, but not on how to get less busy. Because I don't think it's really a flex to say, oh, I'm so busy all the time. I'm so busy. I don't have any time to do anything. That's not a flex. A flex is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it and be able to afford it without thinking about it. So hopefully with these 5 habits that I'm going to help you break today, I can start getting you a little bit closer to making the amount of money that you want to make in terms of profit take home after taxes. And number 2, get your time back so you start doing more of the things that you like in life, whether it's be with your kids, whether it's focus on these bigger issues in your business and your life, these, $10,000 problems, $100,000 problems, $1 million plus problems, challenges, opportunities, instead of being stuck in the day-to-day thinking $50 an hour, $100 an hour. I need to help you focus on the big thing, on the big picture, so that you can have more impact in your business, on your finances, in your relationships, and in your community. So with that being said, let's jump into the 5 habits that you have keeping you broke, right? So if your business isn't making enough money, if you're not doing the right things, if you feel like your business isn't as far as it should be based on how long you've been in business and how hard you've worked, then pay attention to this. And it's not even just paying attention. It's about taking action from it, right? So to learn something is to basically take in new information and change your behavior based on that information. So if you are, and intelligence is the rate of learning, how fast do you learn? So how fast do you make take new actions based on new information? And so if you listen to this podcast, you go back into the same old routine that you've done before, then that is not learning, right? That is taking in something. And so instead of like cranking up to the next podcast episode, maybe listen to this one again and really think about how you can take nuggets out of this so that you can learn, change your action, change your behavior, and get a different outcome. Because until you change your behavior, you're never going to get a different outcome. Now, let's jump into number 1. So number 1 habit keeping you broke as a painting contractor is the habit of not understanding the value of your time. So as a painting business owner, the worst thing that you could be doing, the least valuable thing that you could be doing in your painting business, and it's funny to say, but the least valuable thing that you could be doing as a painting contractor is painting. So if you own your painting business and you are still painting, just know every hour that you are painting, you are not doing a service for your business. You're doing a disservice, because every time you're pushing paint, the most you can make in that hour is about $50 to $100. Okay. So if you're pushing paint full 40 hours a week, the most your business will ever make is between $100,000 and $200,000 per year. Sure, not make, but gross revenue, total sales. Now, sure, you can have some helpers, right? You can, get some helpers, but even if you have helpers, you're still tied to the job site because your time is still limited. If you're not on the job site, your helpers don't know what to do. So, by being the only lead painter in your company, by being the one who your company relies on to push paint, do production, to get all of this stuff done, your business is going to be limited at that level forever until you figure out a way to get out of production, right? And then out of the day-to-day eventually. Now, this is the step-by-step process. You don't need to immediately go from 0 to 100. You don't immediately need to go from being a painter to having a production manager and a full crew, right? It's about one step at a time, breaking down this big goal into manageable chunks. So number one, what is the value of your time? Let's say our goal is, your goal to make is $250,000 in profit. So if you take $250,000 and divide it by 52 weeks, that's $4,800 a week, divided by 40 hours a week. That's $120 an hour. That means on average, you need to be making $120 per hour in terms of profit every single hour that you work. And if you're working at a 30% net margin, that is like $400 hour activities. So how can we get up the ladder here? Basically, we need to multiply how many painters we have producing for us so that we can get to that level. If each painter can produce at about $85 an hour, you times that by 50%, so 40, say just call it $40 an hour. In order to make $400 an hour, you need 10 painters working for you. And so as long as you're working full time, not only do you have no time to do the higher leverage activities, but you have no energy either. Because if you spend all day going up and down ladders, painting baseboards, rolling out walls, running to the paint store, doing all this stuff, when it comes time to do the higher value activities, you're simply not going to have the energy, the focus, or the desire to do what's needed in order to grow your business. So how do you do this? How do you get off the tools? How do you get away from the job site? Business is a series of calculated risks, and you need to be okay taking a calculated risk in order to get a desired outcome. What does that mean? That means if you take a whole week, say 2 weeks, and you stop painting altogether, and now you have 100 freed up hours to focus on growing the business, now you can use these 100 hours to accomplish a new goal. Say, I want to hire 2 painters in the next 2 weeks. And then once I have these 2 painters, right, now it comes down back to knowing your finances, knowing your numbers, come back to these 2 painters, and if they're producing at $40 an hour in terms of gross profit, $80 an hour charge rate, $40 an hour gross profit, now you're making $80 an hour with these 2 painters, okay? And not 2 helpers either, 2 leads, 2 guys who have the capacity to be leads. And you're going to start by delegating them painting. Then you're going to delegate to them the job site management. Then you're going to delegate the customer communication. Then you're going to delegate the paint store pickups and drop-offs. That might be a little bit sooner, right? But step by step, all of the things that you're currently doing, you need to be able to delegate and get off your plate so that you can focus on sales. Then you can focus on marketing. Then you can focus on recruiting. Then you can focus on leadership. Then you can focus on finances. But as long as you're painting, as long as you're running ladders, as long as you're running crews, as long as you're talking to customers, your business is going to be stuck at that level. So that's number one, not understanding the value of your time. Now, that leads right into number 2. The second habit keeping you broke as a painting contractor is not understanding how to delegate, right? Or not understanding or differentiating the difference between delegating and abdicating. So what do I mean by this? So often we just get stuck in our ways, right? We get stuck painting a certain way. We get stuck, talking to homeowners a specific way. And if as we bring people in to actually do the painting or talk to homeowners and they don't do it exactly like we want them to, or they make a little bit of a mistake, we get frustrated. We don't understand how long it takes to actually teach someone to do something. So we say, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm just going to do it myself. No one else can do it as good as me. So I'm just going to do it myself. And no matter what stage in business you're at, whether you're on the tools, off the tools, running production, not running production, doing sales, not doing sales, GM, CEO, no matter what level you're at, you're going to hit this at one point where you hit the level to which you don't have the skill to be able to delegate that more difficult task. right? I've said this hundreds of times. Your ability to delegate, your ability to grow your business is limited only by your ability to delegate more and more complex tasks. So once you hit that level to which you cannot no longer delegate because you don't know how, your business will stop there unless you can expand your knowledge and your ability to delegate that next level thing, right? Whether you're at 100K, 1 million, 10 million, you're going to hit that level. Then it's your responsibility to find the coaching, the resources, the guidance in order to expand your ability to delegate, right? And then as you expand that ability to delegate, you're able to put in better and bigger systems. And then ultimately delegate that, work on a higher leverage thing. Starts with painting, delegating crew leadership, delegating talking to customers, delegating picking up paint, right? One thing at a time. And as you do it, just as a pro tip, record yourself with your phone or with a Plod, like an AI recorder of yourself doing that thing. And then you can easily take that recording and turn it into a process after that. So if you continue to go through your business and go through, life, not understanding truly how to delegate, your business is going to stay stuck, and it's not going to be very fun. Now that kind of brings me to the next part of it, which is not delegating, but abdicating. The difference between delegating and abdicating. So if you are doing something with part of your time, if you hire someone to do that thing that you were doing pretty good with part of your time, and now it's their responsibility with all of their time, they should be able to do it better than you. Okay. What do I mean by that? So if you are spending, 10 hours per week doing estimates, okay, and you come in and hire a salesperson to now spend 40 hours of their week doing estimates and focusing on sales, their close rate and average job size should go up, not down. Anything that you delegate, if it gets worse, as a result, if the KPI gets worse or the quality gets worse as a result of delegating from you, you have not delegated, you have abdicated. And you need to now determine how to get that quality or those KPIs back up. And the person that you hired, there's one of two reasons why the quality may have gone down. It could be number one, it's either a skill thing. So their skill isn't high enough, in which case that means you need to train them more. Or is it a commitment thing? Meaning, is their attitude just not there and they don't care enough? And if it's a skill thing, then that's trainable. You can teach them. You can level them up. But if it's a commitment thing, if it's an attitude thing, it's not going to, you need to find somebody else. So number two, like I said, the 5 habits keeping you broke, not understanding how to delegate or understanding the difference between delegating and abdicating. All right. Number 3, third habit keeping you broke as a painting contractor is not focusing on profit. Okay. What do I mean by this? So if you don't focus on profit, if you're focusing on revenue, then the profit is going to be what's left over. You're hoping that there's going to be enough profit left over, whether you're estimating based on revenue and not thinking about profit, or not reviewing your finances often enough, not looking at your bank account. You're gauging how much money you have as a business by the balance in your bank account instead of understanding the balance on your balance sheet, not understanding the three financial, financial statements, your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, and your statement of cash flows, right? If you're operating your business blindly, meaning you look at your bank account and that's how much money you assume you have, then you are not focusing on profit. You are never going to be able to scale your business if your financial habits don't keep up with who you're trying to be. If you think about that term, fake it till you make it, you need to pretend that you're a 7-figure CEO long before you ever get there. Because as long as you're doing 5- and 6-figure hustler activities around your finances will never grow beyond that certain point. So if you're not focusing on profit, you are effectively operating as a 6-figure hustler, and you're never going to break through that $1 million mark. So what are some things that you can do to begin focusing on profit rather than just focusing on revenue? So number 1, when you're bidding, when you're doing your bids, when you're doing your estimates, always calculate how much gross profit is going to be left over after you complete that job. So you want at least a 50% gross profit, and maybe even a 55% gross profit after you pay for your labor and your materials. So do the math based on your estimate. If you get rid of labor, get rid of materials, how much is left over? It needs to be at least 50, maybe even 55%. Okay, if you're not at least bidding in a way where the job is can be profitable, then if it doesn't work on paper, it's not going to work in real life. So make it work on paper before you sell it, before you take the deposit. And don't just discount to get the job. Unless you're super desperate and you just don't want to fire your painters, don't discount just to get the job, right? If your painters are sitting idle because you can't get profitable jobs, then use them as marketers to get more profitable work. It's very possible, okay? Now, bidding for profit is not where it ends. That's where it starts. So you're winning jobs that have the opportunity to be profitable. Then it comes to actually producing them profitably and checking that they were produced profitably. And this means actually doing your job costing on every single project within a week of that project closing. And then that doesn't even end there. And then making decisions based on that profitability. If you have a job and it is not profitable because you only made 25% gross profit on it, what decisions, what actions are you making that are going to change the behaviors in your future? Like I said at the start, new input. So you learn something. Okay, I learned that the way I'm bidding fence jobs is not profitable. So what's the outcome? What am I going to be doing? How am I going to be changing my behavior because of this new information that I learned? Okay, I realized that when I bid fence jobs, I only hit a 30% gross profit. Therefore, in the future, when I bid fence jobs, I need to either sell them for more money, get my painters to do them for less hours, or save money on paint. Probably can't save another 20% on paint. So we either need to do them faster or price them higher. Okay, 20% higher. What were the painters doing? And this is going to lead into the next point here in a second. But what are the ways that we can be more profitable? And then once you start generating a lot of job costing data, which crews are more profitable than others? Are there some crews that do exteriors way better than others? And what's the decision that we're going to be making there? Maybe we realize that crew 1, Tommy and Joe, we're going to keep them on exteriors because they crush exteriors. But the crew 2 is way better on interiors. So now we're making decisions with the business, with the information that we have. We're acting like a CEO instead of just reacting to the information that we have. We're able to make proactive decisions that help out the profit of the business and not just hoping that it's going to work out. Okay. So, like I said, the third habit keeping you broke as a painting contractor is not focusing on profit. 2 ways to do that. Make sure you're bidding on profit, and then make sure you job cost all of your projects, and then make decisions based on the job costing that you've done. All right, which brings us to the 4th habit keeping you broke as a painting contractor. And this one is simple. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Use piece rate or some sort of bonus system within production to incentivize your painters to sell to produce faster for high quality. So piece rate in its simplest terms is having a set number of hours that you're going to pay out for the project and sticking to that. All right, guys, this project is a 100-hour project. If you get it done in 80 hours, I'm going to pay you for 100 hours. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this. If you're working with subcontractors, then you are already doing this. It's like, okay, guys, here's 40% of the project. I'm going to give you $6,000 and you're going to get this job done. I don't care how long it takes. Just get it done. $6,000. Okay. So that's for subs. It's going to be a fixed percentage. Hopefully after materials and labor, you're still around 50%. With a sub, it might be a little bit less gross profit. You might be 42 to 45%, but they're going to be taking more responsibility off of your plate, which is the trade-off, right? They're essentially taking that job site management off of your plate, which then that means that you have a little bit more budget to play with. Now, when it comes to a W-2 or an in-house employee, changes a little bit. And there's different regulations in different states and provinces and stuff. But for the most part, it's easy to do. Well, it's simple. It's not easy. Sorry, easy, but not necessarily. It's simple, not easy? Yeah, I think it's simple, but not that easy. And you can do it, though. It's not going to be that difficult. And so how do you do this? Well, there's a few different ways. If you want to get granular, if you're able to calculate how many hours you bid the project for, whether you're using production rates or Paint Scout or something like that, where you can actually see how many hours you bid for, now we can break it down and be like, all right, guys, this is a 100-hour project. Get it done in 80 hours. I'll pay you for 100. Okay. Then an important distinction here, though, when you're talking to an employee versus a subcontractor, an employee thinks in hourly hours and days, whereas a sub thinks in how much money they're making per week. per week. So for an employee, you say, hey, if you get it done by Wednesday, you're actually going to be making $35 an hour because you've calculated the effective rate. And also in the description, if you want a piece rate calculator that I put together, check the description of this episode and click on it. You can download the piece rate calculator for free. So you can do it in an hourly, just like I said. Now, if your painters are more used to day rates, then you can say, all right, guys, if you get this done in 5 days, I'm going to pay you for 6. Or if you get this done in 3 days, I'm going to pay you for 4, right? Assuming ahead of time that you've already calculated that that's the amount of that you bid it for. And now you're motivating them with a different task or a different, amount. It's also important if you're doing piece rate to break down the project in manageable chunks so that the painter can get bought into the budget. Now, if you just show them the budget and say, hey, this is a 100-hour project, and they're like, well, how'd you get 100 hours? So, well, it's what it's bid for. Okay, well, you're not going to have very much trust with that. But if you can say that this project is a 100-hour project, and here's how it's broken down. Bedroom, 4 hours, or say bedroom, 6 hours, bathroom, 3 hours, kitchen, 5 hours, trim, 11 hours. And then you go through the list with your painters. All right, guys, can you get the bedroom done in 6 hours? All right, can you get the bathroom done in 4 hours? All right, can you done the kitchen done in 5 hours? You get their buy-in for every single part of it. And then at the end of the project, you can go through and be like, all right, did you beat it or did you not beat it? What took longer than you thought it was going to take? What did you get done quicker than you thought? Again, using more data to impact the future behavior of yourself, of your bidding, of your business. Get the guys bought in and then hold them accountable to that. Hey, you guys said the bedroom would only take 6 hours. How come it took you guys 9 hours? Oh, well, this, then. Okay, well, right now now you can do some training. Is it a skill thing? Is it a commitment thing? Were they on their phones? Were they not showing up? Right now you can work on addressing the problem. But if you just take that information and don't actually address the problem, you haven't learned anything new and you're going to stay stuck. All right. The last habit, keeping you broke, and this is a big one. It's your beliefs, okay? Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're going to be right. And in life, we tend to look around for things that reaffirm the beliefs that we already have. I just saw this clip from, it was Tony Robbins on the Theo Vaughn podcast, and he had this kind of like thought experiment. So Tony asked Theo to close your eyes. Okay, when you open your eyes, you're going to look around and find everything brown in the room. So he opened his eyes and looked around, and Theo just like took mental note of everything that was brown. Okay, close your eyes again. All right, how much red did you see? It's like, oh shoot, well I didn't see any red because I wasn't looking for it. Okay, and now open your eyes again and look for everything that's red. Okay, then Theo looks around and tries to look for everything that's red mentally and takes mental note of it. Okay, close his eyes again. All right, do you see a bunch of red? Yes. Okay, cool. Open your eyes. All right. When you were looking for things that were brown, that's all that you could see, right? And I bet that when you were looking for those brown things, you probably saw some beige things too. And you're like, you lock that into the brown category, right? Like, yeah, I did. And when you're looking for red, you probably saw some like maroon or purple things that you bucket that into the red category, right? Yeah. So basically what that means is your mind looks for things to reaffirm what you already believe. So if you are looking for red and you want to be right, you want your beliefs to be right. So if you're looking for red and you see some crimson or you see some purple or you see some maroon or whatever, you're going to block that in to the red category because you want to be right and you want to reaffirm your beliefs. So that's just like a theoretical way to think. Now, if we bring it back to your business, your life, your finances, you are going to reaffirm the beliefs that you already have. And I want to try to help you escape that because that can be, it can be either good or bad depending on how you look at it. So number one, if you feel that we're going into the holidays and it's going to be slow and it's going to be tough and everyone is feeling it and the economy's hard and people don't want to paint, if you go into the season believing that, then that's all you're going to see. And it's going to be true. And you're going to have a hard freaking time. But if you go into the holidays, if you go into the new year thinking, I am going to be successful. There are people that want to paint. I can charge a lot for my work. There are homeowners who want to pay premium prices for premium services. I can charge $100 per hour to paint. I can find great painters. They are everywhere. You start another one, sorry, that Coach Jesse really likes to use is running a painting business is easy. Scaling a painting business is easy. Business is easy. Business is simple. We just choose to make it hard. Now, if you change your beliefs and start thinking these things, right? Even if you don't truly believe them yet, but you start telling them to yourself and start doing your best to ignore the other voice in your head that's telling you that business is hard, that people are broke, that the economy is slow, that it's all, ex-politician's fault. If you try to silence those voices and just focus on the positive, focus on business is easy, running a painting business is easy. I am capable. There are tons of great painters. There are tons of great homeowners. Homeowners want to pay me premium prices. I can charge premium prices. I can sell, right? You start believing these things. You start telling yourself these things, and I promise you, life is going to get easier, right? Life is going to get easier. Business is going to get easier. Things are going to come to you, right? It will happen, right? There's no one who has gone in with a positive mindset and positivity not come as a result. Sure, it might be slower. Sure, it might be more delayed than you hope. But I promise you that if you go in with a positive attitude and you reframe your beliefs as you can do this, you will do this, it's easy. Life is going to be easier. Business is going to be easier. And your bank account is going to thank you for it. So the 5 habits keeping you broke that I just took you through were not understanding the value of your time, not understanding how to delegate, not focusing on profit, not using piece rate, and having negative beliefs about your business, your life, and the economy. If you can switch all of those, if you understand the value of your time, you can understand how to delegate, you can focus on profit, you can start using piece rate, and you can have positive beliefs that reaffirm how easy business is. Business is going to be so much smoother for you. So as you go into the holidays, don't feel bad for yourself. Don't throw yourself a pity party because it's slow, because other people tell you it's slow, because the economy might feel slow. Rewire your brain is it's easy. There are people who want it. And then don't just think it though. Take the action. Take the according action that would assume that you would take if all these things were true. Right? If you think business is going to be 10 times slower than throughout the rest of the year, then go out there and do 10 times as much action. If your business is slow and you don't have enough money in the bank or enough work lined up, don't take the whole week off. You don't need 5 days off for Thanksgiving if your business doesn't have enough work to get you through December. You owe it to your family to go put in the work, put in the hours, go do the reps. And don't make excuses that no one wants to do business around Thanksgiving and Christmas, because they do. And because everyone else has these beliefs that no one wants to do work around Thanksgiving and Christmas, that leaves an opportunity for you. That's an open door. Hey, I'm here. I'm open. I'm doing the reps. I'm putting in the work. I'm shaking hands. So if you're not where you want to be, don't take the week off. Go do twice the work that you normally would do. Come home for Thanksgiving dinner, then go back out after and get after it. All right, guys. Hope that was helpful. If you want that piece rate calculator, hit the link in the description. Thank you guys. Twice a week coming right up for you. Peace. Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.